What up? Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Wherever you are listening in the world and whatever you're doing right now, whether that's going to the gym or doing dishes or commuting on the way to work, you listen in the car, you listen on the subway, wherever it is that you are, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time here with me. And I really want to make this episode powerful for you. I think that this episode, it's not only going to talk about, how we're able to actually raise money using crowdfunding, which is a hallmark on this show. A lot of other episodes out there with real world entrepreneurs, people that are raising money literally every single week when it comes to doing Indiegogo campaigns, Kickstarter campaigns, WeFunder campaigns. We cover it all on this podcast. And on today's episode, we spoke with a creator who was able to raise over $150,000 from more than 600 backers. And I think one of the most common questions that I get is like, Sal, I've been listening to some of those episodes and some of those success stories that you have on the podcast, but is this really going to work for me? And that's one of the reasons why I love to have on a wide array of creators from many different backgrounds, from different ages. I think the youngest person we've had on the show is around 16. I think the oldest we've had is probably around 70, 75 years old. Or many different types of designs and disciplines and stuff that they're into, and different niches and different industries, and also different locations around the world. Today's podcast guest is actually from Lithuania, and he stumbled on this problem that actually was kind of besetting a loved one of his. And rather than just kind of, leaving it up to the experts, he decided to make his own product. He decided to really put his nose to the grindstone, kind of like the way you do, right? If you think about like Tony Stark, right? Tony Stark from Iron Man, and being stuck in this cave and having to create his own solution. He decided to create his own solution for a product, for a problem that he is freaking passionate about. Right? I think that passion is one of the biggest commonalities that I see among successful crowdfunding campaign creators. But that you're going to hear that story on today's show, as well as the things that work for him when it comes to delivering traffic, delivering funding to his campaign, how he's able to rocket it through his actual funding meter, actually able to rank better on Indiegogo, some of the tips and advice he has for beginners as well who are just getting started with this process. A lot of great stuff and tactics when it comes to crowdfunding. But what I'd always like you to take away from today's episode is, going into this year of 2023, I think that, and I'm going out on a limb here and saying this, but honestly, I believe this is the easiest time in the history of the planet to raise money online. I think it's literally the easiest time ever to launch a new e-commerce product. And here's the cool thing again, you can do this from anywhere. You can do this no matter what your background is. Maybe you've made a product before, or maybe you haven't. Even if this is something you think is a wild, wacky idea, and maybe you're even a little bit scared to share it with other people, there are so many examples of success stories if you go back into the archives of this podcast, and you can listen to them and you can hear from real-world entrepreneurs raising money every single week and what's working for them when it comes to driving funding, creating this incredibly new product into the world, which I think is incredible. You got to be so persistent and passionate and excited about this, right? Was something that's so cool that literally was in your head and now is existing in the real world. To me, that's almost like magic, right? And that's what we love to talk about on this show. But in addition, this simple decision to buckle down, to focus on this, whether this is your hobby, whether this is something you're trying to turn into a full-time business, that decision to focus, that decision to not get sidetracked and to really, make this something that's important to you. The more that you can do that, the more there's so many cool things that are on the other side of that decision. And that could be, for example, discovering hundreds or thousands of customers around the world, getting the funding to blow this thing up. Literally, this is the snowball that gets it all started. And even more, I think having a product in the wild, having people say nice things about it, and being able to delight other people, or maybe like, for example, with today's guest, being able to solve a problem that beset an individual in his family and that he really cared about developing a solution for. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. If you do want to get started in learning more about crowdfunding and Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I have a great free course out there, which I'm going to link to, and I'm going to share the link with you right now. So you can write this down. You can open up your notes app on your iPhone. The link is going to be crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. That link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. That free course is also applicable to Indiegogo. I do have lessons there, also talking about some of the differences between Kickstarter and Indiegogo. That's going to be a great free course to get started if you've never done a crowdfunding campaign, or you want to discover the latest and greatest insights and tactics and tips when it comes to launching a campaign powerfully. If you're ready to actually kind of invest more in your education and your learning and really upgrade your knowledge and skill set, and honestly, I think that when you're trying to do anything, whether that's like construct something new and trying to build something, right? It's only really going to be as good the result as your tools. You're trying to build a house, but you don't have lots of good tools. It's going to be very difficult for you to lay the foundation for that house, right? If you're working on a car and you got outdated tools, it's going to be very difficult to do the job that you need to. So one of the things that should be a tool, in my opinion, in your war chest, a tool in your arsenal, in your toolbox, is the Kickstarter launch formula. So this is a incredible guide, which I feel so lucky, honestly, to be able to discover a lot of the different tactics and teachings what I've put in there, and also that have been shared over the years by many of these guests that you're listening to right now, as well as other things that I don't talk about publicly on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, on my podcast, on my blog, anywhere else, are embedded within the pages of the Kickstarter launch formula. So if you want to check that out, go to this link. I'm going to give you two links. One is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link will take you to the audible version of the Kickstarter launch formula. You can go and check it out there. And if you download it, you can also get a free 30-day trial of Audible. In addition, like I mentioned before, if you want to check out that link for the free Kickstarter course, that's crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. But I'm going on too much, man. I want to get straight to the crux of this episode. Let's dive in. Let's get right to it. And let's discover how this creator was able to attract more than $150,000, more than 600 backers. And it's coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we're speaking with a campaign creator who's been able to attract more than 500 backers for Pulsetto to reduce stress, anxiety, and improve your sleep. And I will let the creator tell you a little bit more about that on today's show. Vitalijus, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Definitely, man. Maybe we can get started here. You can tell listeners just a bit about your product and what you've been working on.
Yeah, so basically we created vagus nerve stimulator. Vagus nerve is one of the, let's say, biggest nerves in our body. It connects the brain and internal organs. And we created a device which you can put on the neck because the vagus nerve is very active on the neck region, and it's creating electric signal, electric impulses. It activates the vagus nerve, and this is how you are becoming calmer because your heart rate is decreasing, your heart rate variability is increasing, you're activating parasympathetic nervous system, and this is how you are becoming relaxed. This device is managed by app, so in our app you can regulate stimulation intensity, you can choose the stimulation program, personalize, and etc. So this is our product. Basically, we already had first version of our product, and on Indiegogo we are launched the second generation product. And yeah, we are at this moment we are still on the campaign because it's on the 26th day of the campaign. At this moment.
Super exciting, man. Super exciting. When it comes to you, what's your role when it comes to the project?
Yeah, so we are two co-founders, me and my partner Povilas. Povilas is very good on engineering side and let's say product development. He's quite a strong expert in the vagus nerve, area. I am more about business development, about finances, about marketing. Also, at the same time, I am quite a big expert of sleep, especially in my country, in Lithuania. I'm one of the loudest, let's say, people who is talking about the importance of sleep and etc. I'm biohacker, so I'm experimenting a lot on myself. So, this is also quite near to me. This topic, this vagus nerve stimulation, sleep, stress, and etc.
When did you first become passionate about that subject in particular?
3 years ago, something like that. Like I said, I'm sleep biohacker and in general longevity, let's say, enthusiast. So I tested a lot of things on myself. And I tested several vagus nerve devices. By the way, there are not so many vagus nerve devices in the world. So this was interesting. And the second is like a personal reason because my wife, she has cholesteric head pains. For those who don't know what it is, it's like a 10 times bigger pain than migraine. and it's appear, let's say 1-2 times per year for, let's say 3-4 days, but those 3-4 days are very terrible, and basically there are no treatment. We tested a lot of things, oxygen therapy and etc., but basically there are no treatment. But there are some articles, some publications that vagus nerve stimulation can treat migraine, can treat cluster head pains. So there is even one device FDA approved who claiming that he can treat, or he can reduce, let's say, cluster head pain. So this is my personal, reason, because we are using quite similar electric signal in our device. Just we are startup, so we cannot claim that we can treat. We need more clinical trials and etc. But I mean, we are using very similar, electric signal. So I know that I have some kind of weapon. Maybe this weapon is not FDA approved yet, but at least for my wife, if for the next, let's say, this attack of these pains, I can give for her something.
That's so challenging. Yeah, I mean, that's super challenging. I imagine seeing your wife in that way as well. Just wanting to come up with a solution, right? Something that's going to help her or fix that. I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of let's say interesting things about this cluster head pains, even microdosing of LSD and etc. But I mean, there is no proof, for this. So we really tested a lot of things, and I mean, I hope that that this device will not only will help for our customers to decrease stress, but in the future we are really thinking about medical device status, and we really want to treat serious mental health diseases, So this is one of the reasons why we went to Indiegogo.
I think that a lot of people, if they were to come across that problem, might really look out online for research, and at that point they kind of stop their search. But it sounds like you actually buckled down and decided to create something from scratch and to create a whole new product. Why did you decide to do that? Was that, had you done products before? Had you created a business before? Why did you decide to create something on your own?
I made several, let's say, not successful startups in sleep industry. I by the way, I had very perfect and very amazing corporate career before. I was like 10-15 years. I was very strong on the dealing with people, with big, let's say, teams and etc., buying companies, turnarounding companies, but as a corporative guy, And then, I decided that I need at some point to do my business, and I failed with 4 businesses, with 4 business ideas. All of them was related with sleep somehow, and then I met Povilas, this other co-founder. I already knew some articles, some publications about vagus nerve stimulation and benefits for the parasympathetic nervous system and for the pain management. So we met and we just decided, that let's try to do something, very fast. Let's try to do some MVP version of the product. Maybe let's go to some investors. I knew several of them in Lithuania. And maybe let's try to create something meaningful, not only some kind of apps, but also, I mean, more serious stuff like hardware.
What really went through your mind when you were making that decision to leave behind a very comfortable, cushy corporate career to pursue something a little bit more risky? What was kind of going through your mind to make that decision?
I mean, I don't know. I needed more challenges in my life, and I wanted to create something meaningful because, when you're dealing with a corporate world, I remember once at the end of the year. I mean, I don't remember. It was like 3-4 years ago. I just collected all my achievements, in presentation form. I collected my achievements that I reached this kind of EBITDA, or I bought this kind of company, or I turned around at this kind of company. And then I remember it was like some achievement from 2012. I didn't remember about it, but it was quite a big achievement, big number that I reached some kind of big EBITDA of one department and etc. And I asked myself, if I cannot remember like a achievement which was like 6 years ago, what is the chance that somebody, I mean, those employers, will remember you after 20 years? Zero chance. Right? So this was I cannot say that's turning point, but it was some kind of, let's say, a negative motivation for me that I need to do something on my own, that I need to create something meaningful, which I will remember even when I will be 60, 70 years old.
So you wanted to create meaningful change that would impact other
Exactly.
people and be long lasting.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the sleep and, let's say, health area, because I see unsolved problems at this moment. There are a lot of unsolved problems, even on, let's say, on the sleep category. We have snoring problem, which is unsolved. There are a lot of devices or some kind of solution, but they are practically not working. We have night shifters, those employees who are working at night. Basically, there are no solutions for them, and they have a very big risk due to bad sleep and etc. We have baby sleep, and the parents who are suffering from the poor baby sleep. I mean, there are some areas which don't have solution yet. And for me, it sounds, not strange, but this is motivation for me, to do something in this area. The same with stress. We have plenty, let's say, solutions for stress. From CBD oils to, I don't know, breathing techniques, headspace apps, and etc. But still, we have a bunch of people with a bunch of stress, and the amount of stress is increasing every year. So, this is some kind of disconnection, between those two things. So that's why this is the reasons, why.
Yeah, I can tell you're super passionate about this. And talk to me about the craftsmanship. How long were you working on this product before it really saw the light of day?
Yeah, it was very interesting. It's a other story, but it took us from idea to first sales 9 months. We created.
9 months. That's actually not too bad.
When usually, yes, it's very not too bad. Usually hardware, it's like a 2 years, something like that. We have even examples of 3 years, from idea to first sales. So I remember that we created our company in 2021 October, and then on this year summer, we already have first sales.
Incredible. And you've already gotten tons of funding already. You already have more than 500 backers. Why do you think that this really struck a chord for people when maybe some of your other businesses, didn't get off the ground in that way? Why do you think this one struck the chord?
For us, let's say this crowdfunding is important for several reasons. First of all, the brand awareness for us is very important. I believe that if you are successful in this kind of Indiegogo Kickstarter campaign, then you are reaching some kind of credibility, and this is very, very, very important. And the second, that crowdfunding buyers, they are for them it's okay to wait, They can wait half year, 1 year, and etc. We are, by the way, delivering the first 100 orders next week, and the next, let's say, batch will be in February. So but there are a lot of projects which
take months,
months, and etc. And from other side, when we are selling from our website, people don't want to wait. We have a 4 weeks delivery, because you need to understand, we are a startup. We cannot afford to order huge amount of components, huge amount of electric PCBs, and etc. And our delivery time, let's say, is 4 weeks, and then nobody want to wait 4 weeks. So it's a totally different, let's say, mentality of customers, which is very good for us. For this supply chain management and cash flow management and etc.
If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillrite, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist, and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist, fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately. Tell me about the time when, before you went live with the Indiegogo campaign, what were you feeling? Were you excited? Were you apprehensive? How did you feel the night before you went live with this campaign?
It was 24/7 work. I remember we went to the office Fortunately, in this office, we have a bar. I mean, like a physical bar with the drinks and etc. And I remember the first day I came back 11 p.m. At home at my time. And then I slept like, despite the fact that I'm some kind of sleep expert, I slept only for till 4 a.m., for 5 hours. Then I woke up and I went to office. So I went to, yeah, and one more day was like a full 24/7 day, because it was some kind of I don't know, some kind of little anxiety, stress, something like that, but at the same time we feel prepared, really, because we have very strong mentor, the guy who launched several Kickstarter campaigns. And we work very closely with him. We created very detailed plan, what we want to do in the first, let's say, 72 hours, when the newsletters are coming, when the social ads are coming. I mean, we created very detailed plan on the daily level, what we need to do. So, when you've prepared, you feel motivation, yeah? It's like this Kobe Bryant mentality, Mamba mentality.
I love that. Yeah.
Self-confidence comes from preparation, yeah? So if you're prepared, you're confident, yeah? But at the same time, of course, it was some kind of stress and let's say some kind of anxiety, about the start, how the users will react, how the Indiegogo algorithm will react, and etc.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And your focus on preparation, I think, is obviously showed up as well when people started to actually back the campaign. When you started to actually notice that people were backing this, that people were sharing it, what did that feel like? What did that mean to you? Because you've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, it was good. It was crazy. It was those first. I mean, we come in the first page of Indiegogo in first 24 hours. We just checked and then we saw, we are in the first page of Indiegogo, which means that we are doing something good. Yeah, and it was good. It was good, and it was a lot of let's say community messages from different angles, from Facebook. We had Facebook private group, from Instagram, from emails, from Indiegogo customer support. It was a lot of messages. We even had one, let's say, person as a customer support, but she still couldn't handle everything. So it was some kind of super communication and environment that you are talking with somebody all the time. Yeah. You're writing, you're answering some questions, you're solving some kind of issues, problems, and etc.
And I got to underscore as well, you guys have been getting tons of comments and tons of people that are saying very nice things about the project. And I really do think, like I said, that you struck a chord because stress and sleep is so incredibly important, right? And people have tried other things out and they haven't worked. So it really sounds like you've been able to kind of tap into something here. And I'm sure that's, obviously why you've gotten so many people reaching out to you as well.
Yeah, and for example, unfortunately, this weekend we had some issues with the app because we made new features of app as we promised for our Indiegogo users. And then, some issues, some bugs from development side, and our existing users, those customers who bought, at summer from our website. Then I realized how much addictive users we have, because it was a bunch of emails during the weekend that why the app is not working. We cannot live without Pulsetto. Pulsetto is very helpful for the anxiety and panic attacks for me. And then I realized that we have like army of guys who really love our product. We fixed that. The app at this moment is already working, but I realized the amount of people, and now it's, for me, it's very big motivation this Monday that, I already thought to my team, that we need to exploit more those our existing users.
Yeah, because that's exactly what you were looking for as well when you first started the company, right? And started the product, is to be able to help females, to be able to help people with sleep problems, and have people be using the app so much is a huge validation, right, of that.
Yeah.
If you were to talk to someone who is just kind of getting started with their project, what advice would you give them? They're looking at your project like, dude, this guy has been, doing incredible work, so much success in such a quick period of time. what advice would you give to someone else out there who's just working on the project?
There are a lot of advices, but for sure, I mean, first of all, when we decided in the middle of summer of this year to go to crowdfunding, to be honest, I thought that it will be much easier. I thought, okay, you need to make some kind of video, nice. You need to make some kind of banners, some kind of creatives, and that's it. But in reality, it's a science with a lot of details, a lot of small details. So I would focus on email generation on the pre-launch phase. This is very important, but not only emails, but those reservations. Those guys who are, let's say, paying some symbolic price for the additional discount or whatever. I mean, I don't know yet the final statistic, but they are converting very good. I mean, they convert like a 30% minimum, of them converted to the buyers. So I would focus on this, not only the quantity of emails, but also on the quality of the reservations. I really suggest to have a mentor, some guy who already did the campaign, and with him to prepare some kind of plan with the media channels. Because, for example, in our case, very good results are from external emails, from those, let's say, mailing lists.
For sure.
Like Pledgebog, Gadget Flow. I mean, we are working with a lot of them. I didn't expect so much from them, but it's a very good return of investments. I mean, it's not everybody, but some of them are really, really nice performers. So. You need to have some kind of marketing plan, on the daily level, and then it's very important this psychology, because the campaign is long, so the start is good, then you have some kind of down situations. For example, I don't know, 3 days ago we had 3 orders only in a day, and the next day we had 42 orders. So this kind of, let's say, ups and downs, it's normal, and sometimes
it's a roller coaster. Roller coaster ride.
And if you will, let's say, stress about all those days, it will be very hard for you, to maintain focus, let's say, energy and etc. during those 30 or 60 days of campaign.
So it almost sounds like, finding the right people to work with, even going back into the early days of you finding your right co-founder, right? The people you surround yourself with is incredibly important when it comes to your success.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Awesome, man. That's so cool. So one other quick question I had for you is, looking back in time, would you have done anything differently, or would you have, leaned on something more when it comes to the strategy? Are there any things you would have improved or done differently?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would, probably the next time I would do a lot of things differently. But let's say if I need to choose a few biggest one, probably the email sender is very important, because let's say first day we changed 2 email providers. First, let's say, day of the launch, because our emails went to spam. So deliverability or some kind of warm-up tools are very important, because you're collecting huge amount of databases during the pre-launch, and then suddenly the first 72 hours are crucial, especially from your email, let's say, database, and then nobody's getting the email. So I mean, this is very important stuff, that your emails will go not to the spam. Sounds very similar, very like a simplistic, but I mean, it's very important. Then, for example, at this moment, we already working with the 3 media agencies on the same pixel, different ad accounts. But my conclusion that really, guys, you need to work with the guys who have experience in crowdfunding, because they have lookalikes, they have the customer database, and only because of this they're performing better. So this is also, for example, now Indiegogo digital team is providing media buying for us, because they believe project and etc. So for us it's very good, because they have all the customers, I mean, they can target very specifically, and etc. And for example, we have Lithuanian media agency, very good guys, very genius on the media buying, but they don't have this kind of databases and etc. And then when we are comparing the results, we see, I mean, quite a big differences in ads performance.
Got it. So making sure you're working with the right partners and people who have experience in crowdfunding and these kinds of things. Understood. Very cool, man. So I just have one or two more questions for you. First of all, when it comes to looking back and really assessing the reason why you started this product, do you feel like this is at least a confirmation of that you've really, been able to solve that initial problem that you had with your wife and really come up with a solution for her?
Not yet, but we are on the good track. I think this Indiegogo campaign and those 500 plus backers will be for us like a proof that we need to go and reinvest money to clinical trials, to some kind of R&D stuff, and not only talk and deal about stress and anxiety and sleep, but go to more serious mental health issues. For example, now we are testing our product and measuring with other, let's say, devices. We see that blood pressure is decreasing. Yeah, because the blood pressure, like a heart rate, is also the part of the parasympathetic nervous system. We don't have claims for this, for sure, but and the clinical trials cost a lot of money and takes a lot of time, to prove, let's say, that also this device can deal with the blood pressure. But this is Indiegogo for us. It's like an encouragement that we need to go and reinvest some part of the money to this kind of medical device status trials. So for me, this is the future, let's say, of Pulsetto. That we need to go to the medical device area, and we need to to do more trials, more studies, more experiments with this product and other, let's say, very serious diseases.
And I see that you have 4 days left here to go at the time we're recording this. Are you planning to go into Indiegogo in demand, or what's next for you here?
Yeah, we are planning, by the way, to extend the campaign for a couple of weeks, and then we will go to the in demand.
Very cool. And that's kind of where people can continue to order this, right, for a further amount of time, while you're keeping that open.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Where can people go to learn more about Pulsetto? Where can they check this out?
Yeah, so I mean, you can always find Indiegogo and Pulsetto page. Probably just insert in the Google or something like that, or we can maybe share the link of Indiegogo campaign. But at the same time, we also have our website where you can find even more information. It's pulsetto.tech. You can read even some studies that we made already about this product, and more information about the technology, about the vagus nerve in general, and etc.
So I just have two more questions for you here. One is, you've had so many people review this product and give you some really great reviews, and you've gotten featured on a bunch of different websites. Do you have any thoughts on how to get a review for the product when it's in the early stage, or anything that worked for you there?
You need just to ask, I believe, directly customers, and get personal touch, just to ask the questions, by email, but can he give the feedback? Now, for example, we will send one more time to all our existing user database the simple question: can he just say some feedback about our product? And then, those customers who will answer, we will try to personally to have a dialogue with them. So I believe, especially in the beginning, when you are a startup and you, I don't know, have 1,000 or something like that customers, you can really do it tete-a-tete. I mean, you can still communicate with them, and try to understand what is good, what is bad in our product. We have like a surveys, we have like a forms and etc. But sometimes just we need some kind of personal message, and
well said. Well said. My final question for you, and we can end on this note, is you can end with either a quote that you like. You could end with a word of encouragement for someone who's just getting started. It could be a final tip about crowdfunding, or it could be something that a mentor or a boss has told you in the past that you would like to pass on. And I'll let you end on that note there.
Yeah, so I probably will repeat myself that preparation is the most important part, because with the preparation, you are becoming more confident. But at the same time, you need to be prepared to change. For example, we had very strict this marketing plan on the daily level, but during the first week we changed it completely 4 times. because we just adapted to the situation. Like I said, our emails went to spam and etc. Some kind of issues. So you need to always prepare for the change.
Great answer. Great answer.
Prepare, but also at the same time, you need to prepare to change everything drastically, dramatically, and etc. This is probably the biggest value and the biggest, let's say, motivation for me in the startup world, because it's so fast and you need to adapt really very fast to the situation.
I love that. Planning as much as you can, but also being flexible and being willing to change the plans, right, when you need to.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, man, for coming on this show. Look forward to seeing your success in the future, and I'll be sure to link up the links to the campaign in the show notes.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. Thank you for spending a little bit of time here in your week listening and diving in and learning about the inner workings of crowdfunding, right? Learning about what's working in terms of driving traffic to pages, in terms of your campaign page, learning about how to actually get backers on Indiegogo, on Kickstarter, on websites like this, and really how to rocket this thing, past your funding meter so you can raise more than you actually thought, or all that you honestly imagined possible. I can't tell you just a number of incredible products and campaigns that literally start out as just a sketch on a napkin. And that's what I've tried to do with this podcast, is kind of humanize, if you want to use a big word there, right? Humanize some of these creators and some of these incredible success stories. Because you look at that and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy raised $150,000. That can almost seem like it's almost not real, right? But once you start to understand, oh, this guy is just like anyone else, and anyone can come up with a product idea, and anyone can persevere and have persistence, and you can do it from anywhere in the world, all of a sudden, the limits of possibility begin to open up, right? And the horizon into the future is incredibly compelling, exciting, if you are willing to take action. If you're willing to take action and actually follow through with this dream that you have to get a new product out there into the world, to raise funding, to attract customers, to attract followers, and you're not too scared to do it. If you're willing to push through that fear, which holds back so many of us from greatness, then you can actually get something out there that's going to help so many people around the world. And at the same time, of course, build a business around that. Or if it's your hobby, be able to do something that you're passionate about, work that you love, right? And also have a supplemental income stream. There's so many different reasons, to do actual crowdfunding. And I think that when it comes to my mastermind, the reason why many of my students also seek out this information is because they know how valuable it is. Because using this system that I've developed, using this information, which is designed to get you a result, once you learn this, you can apply this again and again and again. And for some people out there, you have like thousands of different product ideas buzzing around your head. And, this is an incredibly valuable system, because once you actually learn how to build an audience, how to get funding, how to get backers, how to get media attention, how to do things like social media marketing, how to really get this out there and have people talking about you, create a viral campaign. This is something that is such an incredibly powerful skill set. And when you add this to your toolbox, your arsenal, if you will, all of a sudden, it's almost like you've discovered fire, right? And before that, you're like, oh man, I didn't even realize like I could actually cook meat, I could cook food. I didn't know that this fire thing was so easy to make. But once you actually figure out how it's done, it's like, oh, okay, like now I have the skill. Now I know how to go into the wilderness. I don't have to always be hunting around, right? I can actually cook my food. I can enjoy it. I have a new way of actually experiencing the world that I never thought was possible. I actually enjoy food now, right? But it's all because of that discovery. And if you've never discovered fire, if you haven't learned that skill set, if you don't know how to make it, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually believe that it's possible. So if nothing else, first of all, I hope that you now believe, at least to a little bit more degree, that this is possible. Go and listen to some of my other episodes out there, man. I got tons of episodes out there on my podcast, sharing with you every single week people that are doing just that, right? They're showing you how to actually raise money. They're telling you what's happening. Go and listen to some of those other episodes. However, if you're ready to finally get to the source and you just want to learn the system, right? When it comes to everything in terms of my templates, in terms of my training videos, in terms of my mentorship, in terms of being able to help you and hold your hand every step of the way as you go through this process, go and check out my mastermind program. This is not like just networking, or this is not just listening to training videos, or watching more educational content. This is also a mentorship program where I am personally holding your hand every step of the way through this process, as well as getting access to things that aren't discussed anywhere else online that will actually deliver results to get your campaign funded. So if you want to learn more about that, go and check out this link I'm about to mention at crowdcrux.com/mastermind. That link is crowdcrux.com/mastermind. Again, that link is crowdcrux.com/mastermind. And that link will take you there. And if you are interested in actually joining this community, discovering the skill set, and really investing in that, you can go and check out the mentorship tier there. And we can begin as well our first mentorship call. Thank you so much, man, for listening to this show. Please give me a positive rating and review on iTunes if you got some value out of it. You found it to be educational, useful, helpful. That's really what my goal is here. And also, obviously, deliver a little bit of a dose of inspiration to you each week. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.